So, you bought a Raspberry Pi. Well, guess what? Setting it up is like a piece of cake. It's good cake. Wow, that was good cake. Anyways, thank you for tuning in to the Canadian Maker Project. My name here is Ron. I'm here to help you with your 3D printing questions, ideas and so on and so forth. So I heard the newest version of Octopi is out. So I bought myself a new Raspberry Pi because, well, all my Pis are being used for other stuff right now. As I said in another video, card will pop up over there. And if you haven't seen that video, you might want to watch that. But anyways, we got the Pi already set up. I got a new SD card to go with it. It's already in the Pi, right there. The card I'm using right now is from a company called, let me have a look at the packaging, Gigastone. So it was on sale at the time. It was only $4. So I said, what the heck? I'll buy it from Amazon. If there's a problem with it, I can send it back to Amazon. But anyways, the card's in there. So now we have to go and set up the Pi. Now, if you already own a Pi and you've already had Octoprint or you're thinking of installing Octoprint, first thing I would recommend you is to get the SD card formatter. You can get that from the SD card organization. It's a foundation that created the SD card, and they have a format program that is wonderful to use. I've used it many times for my formatting, and it's been great. I'll have a link down in the description down below for that. Also, what you're going to need is you're going to need the OS for Octoprint. We are also going to need an SD card reader. So if you have an SD card reader, that's great. And last but not least, all you need is a way to put this on. Now, you can use a program called Etcher, which I don't use. I've been happy with another program I use, which is called WinDisk 32. And you'll see that in a second. You'll see the WinDisk program. So first of all, we need to go to the internet and download Octoprint. So you want to go to your handy dandy Google. We're going to type in Octoprint in here. Yeah, I gotta show you guys what I'm seeing. And we just do this. There we go. Now I'll make myself a little bit smaller. Right there. There we go. So you go to octoprint.org. All their information is right here. Easy to do. You just click on download. You looking for the program. Go with the stable one. I find getting the all-in-one Octoprint kits are kind of nice too if you want to get all-in-one kit. I just download the file itself and just have it download. So once this is downloaded, I'm going to unzip the file and it's going to be in a directory. So we're just going to wait for this to finish and then we will cut back and I'll show you guys what I do. Okay, so the file is now finally finished downloading. So let me maximize myself and I'll show you what we're going to do next. So I got the file right now unzipping and going into its program so I can actually write it. So if you are an owner of a 3D print, you should have an SD card reader. The one I use is the one that came with my Ender 3. That one right there. If you have an Ender 3, you know exactly what this drive is like. So this, I've already put the SD card in there. I'm using a 16 gig SD card just to Now what I'm doing is I'm just waiting for it to finish, which it just did. And the file is on my computer. So we're going to go back to my computer. You can see the file is right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start up Win32 Disk Imager. There it is right there. That's Win32 Disk Imager 1.0. Now, a lot of other people like using different ones. I happen to like WinDisk Imager. It's just been a good version. It's always worked for me, and I find it easy to use. So I'm going to take this drive. I'm going to place it into the computer. And now it's been inserted. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag this file on here. Oh, no, it's not going to let me do that again. That's one of the things I don't like about this program. It doesn't allow me to drag files onto it. So go to desktop. We'll scroll through all my games, which I have tons of. And the file we're looking for 2020-1202. Buster Octoprint. Yep, that's the one we want. Open. I don't know why it's saying light for. When I downloaded the full version. It might be this is the type it is, but oh well. So I'm going to tell it to write to the card. Yes. I'm going to write to the card, and then I let it go. Once that finishes, we're going to be doing a lot more work in getting some files and looking at some other stuff. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to pause it for now. We're going to let this finish to install, and then we're going to come back and look at the other stuff that we have to do. Okay, so we're going to be setting up a few things here. So already the file just finished. So I'll show you the guys what it looks like when it says complete. That's what it does when it's completed. So we go, okay. And we're going to go close this up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the file folder and have a look at it here. Let me just pull up the file so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Well, that's the file folder right there. So the first file we're going to be looking at is going to be the config. I believe it's the config.txt, I think, has the files we're looking for. We're going to open with, if you don't have it, my recommendation, download WordPad++ for editing any of these. Each editing file is going to tell you to use use Notepad++. So we're going to pull up Notepad++. And I'm just opening up Notepad++ right now. There we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab a few files from there. So I'm going to minimize this a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to bring in the two files. I believe it's config.txt we need to look at. There's a file that we need to look at. I know that much for setting up the Wi-Fi. And I believe that is down here. It's the Octopi network or an octopi.txt. We're both going to need both of those files. So I'm going to get them set up, get into the areas we need to be in, and then I will come back in the video. Okay, so we need two files. We need to get the Octoprint TXT. That's going to be for setting up our cameras. And then we need Octoprint WPA for setting up our internet. So what you would do is you want to look for your WPA 2 secure if you're using that. And in here, you're going to type in your network. What is your network? You're going to take out these, by the way. And then you're going to put in your password, put in your network ID here, and that's it. Simple and easy. I'm going to do this off camera so you guys don't see my password or information. Then we're going to go into Octoprint. Then we're going to save it. And to save it, all you have to do is just click on the drive up there to hit save. Then we can close that out. And then we go to work on the Octoprint TXT. But we're going to get some few pieces of information first for the Octoprint TXT to work. Okay, so after we've done that, we're going to look at this page. This is the USB webcams known to work with MPEG streamers. This is what you need to know to get your webcam to be able to stream. I use a Logitech C720, which is in this list. So we're going to go look up the C720 and see if it's in this list. Now, your camera may vary. Check this list. It's the best list out there that can show you which one works the best for your camera. So I'm scrolling all the way down to Logitech. There's Logitech 100. There is 270. So this first one here is full widescreen 16:9. This would be 4:3 format. And this one would be for VGA. Honestly, I don't know why you want VGA, but you may need VGA for your system setup. I personally like having an HD camera, having HD quality. So I'm going to go with the 1280 by 720p. So I'm just going to copy this information right here. Next, I'm going to go back to WordPad++, which I was able to enlarge finally. So right here, it says auto tries the first USB webcam. If that's not available, it tries the Rascam. USB will only try USB webcam. Raspi will only try Raspbian cams. I'm going to leave this in the auto because auto's always worked. So I'm going to take out. Believe is I got to do this to take that out. We're going to use camera auto. Now for my camera, I could leave this in and it will work with no problem. But I'm actually going to put in what I copied. So I'm going to go Control V and paste in that part. Make sure that when you put this in, take out all these spaces or anything like that. That can cause a problem. Now we're going to go save. And that's now saved to the card. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to pause the video here. Well, I'm going to enlarge myself first. We're going to pause the video. I'm going to take this over to the area where my printer is. I'm going to plug in my printer. And then we're going to see and set up the Raspberry Pi to work with it. It does take a few seconds to get everything all set up, and I'll walk you through the setup. And then we'll be able to run our first print for the Raspberry Pi with Octoprint 0.18. So stay with me here. I'm going to get this all set up. While we wait for Octoprint to boot up, I just want to ask you guys, have you hit the subscribe button yet? If you haven't already, you guys can hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a cent, and it's free. And if you want to unsubscribe, you can always hit the subscribe button and bing, you're unsubscribed. But if you like right now, my content is showing that you're liking the stuff that I'm covering here, hit the subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. Anyways, we should get back to getting our Pi online. Now, I use a program on my router to tell me what's connected. In my router, I have a program that automatically does that for me. So I'm just logging into my router right now to get my IP address. Now, you can also log into it not using an IP address, but I do recommend just using the IP address if you can't find it. I know octoprint.local will bring it up, but I'm just going to find out what my IP address is, and then we'll bring it up right away, and we'll get into this right now. Okay, well, I found my IP address, and we're ready to go. So let's get into this right now as I bring in the window here, and we'll go that way. Now, you can use octopi, so that'd be OCTOIP, then .local. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's hit or miss. For me, I prefer using an IP address. It just makes it a lot easier. But if you want to use local, if you want to do OCTOIP.local, that will bring it up too. But I'm going to use my IP address since it's on my local network. It makes it easier for me to find it. So first we go to start, and it just says, hello, welcome to Octoprint. I hit next. I don't really do I don't have any backups or anything, so I'm not going to worry about that. So we're going to the next one. Access control, it needs a username and password. So I'm going to enter that in. I'm going to blank it out over here, but I'm going to enter it in right now. Okay, now we come to the anonymous information. Now, this is just for them to get tracking information to find out what's going on with Octoprint. I actually turn it on, so I have no problem just giving them my anonymous information, getting that all set up. Here's an area that you also have to configure because it doesn't allow you to skip. But I know that everything is okay here. This just allows it to check, find out everything's okay, and make sure everything works. So I'm going to enable that. And then I'm going to hit next. Here I am going to enable the blacklist. What that is just plugins or anything else that it considers blacklist. It won't allow you to install them and will protect your system. It's worthwhile turning it on. Just be on the safe side. Here's where you set up your printer. Now I'm only using the CR10 because I just don't have I do have an Ender 3, but I'm waiting for some parts to come in, and that's when I will look at that. But for this, I'm just going to type in my information. Then you want to enter your build information. So my bed is 300 by 300 with a height of 400. Axis, hot end. You might want to change this if you have a different hot end. I have a 0.6 nozzle on that, so I'm going to change it to 0.6. Then I hit next, and that's it. I hit finish. And what this does, it brings you up to Octoprint. And on this, I can connect directly into the printer. I have control. I can see my screen. Now, I don't have now, this is really handy because if you have, like, say, a cell phone or something like that, you can log in to your Pi and actually then re-aim your camera the way you want it. My camera's a little high. It's off-centered, but that's okay. You have a terminal so you can talk to your printer, G-code viewer, and then you have your time-lapse mode. I use time-lapse a lot because I like to look at my videos at the end. But here's something that you might want to look into is your toolbar. Over here is where you can set up all types of different features, like your webcam. I can see mine set for 16:9. That's what I want. Don't need a time-lapse. Don't need it saying Octoprint. And then you can flip, like if your webcam's wrong, you can actually flip it, turn it around. And this is handy. So you can type in your IP address or type in octoprint.webcam//action equals stream. And what that does, that allows you to actually stream your video on any type of device, like a phone or such. But for myself, I'm not going to be using those options. I just want to get this set up and get it going. So that's basically it for Octoprint. Once you've done all that and everything else, you're completely finished. Now, there's a few things that I would recommend that you do. And I got my headphones on because I was checking something, so don't need them anymore. A few things I would honestly look at is one, check your video. Just don't go by, okay, it's set up. It's going to be locked there forever. No. Check your video always. If you like streaming your video, it's always handy to have that stream link. I use something called No IP, which is another program that I use sometimes when I want to do streaming. I'll turn on No IP and I'll just type in that code and then boom, pulls up on my screen. But other than that, it's great to have it set up. You can monitor your prints while you're away. It's really a simple program to set up. And once you got it set up, then you just have no problem using it. Now, I will be doing another video going a little bit more into the Pi in the coming weeks. Hopefully, I can have it out by Saturday. I'm hoping to work on a new video. So when I have that video up, I'll definitely remind you again. If you haven't rang the bell and you liked what I've just did, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, select all for notifications. That way you know when the new video is going to be coming up. Because I'm going to talk more about Octopi and some things you might want to look into to get, your Pi set up. But other than that, that's about it. So if this was informative, please share. Please like the video. Tell others about it. And I want to thank you all for watching. And you know what? Hey, if you want to throw a little bucks my way, you can. There's Patreon, PayPal, any which way you want to do it. Links are down below. It helps a lot. But anyways, guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, have fun printing. And who knows? Maybe you might have some time lapse you want to show me. Just saying. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a great day. And I'll catch you on the next one.